y'all think about Australia? All week I've been trying to figure out how to present this presentation, asking friends at school, what do y'all think about when you think of Australia? All everyone could tell me was, oh, it's like a zoo. It's a desert. It's hot as I don't know what there. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stand to live in Australia. Well, after doing my research, I was shocked knowing that right now, Australia is going through summertime. Summertime in Australia is December to March. I thought that was very creative and unusual because in the United States, our summertime is in August when it's nice and warm and we're out of school. Also, Australia, seeing that during these times, the summertime, Australia has a huge amount of problems with floods and wildfires. In Australia recently, since February to last season, in their summertime, a lot of wildfires tend to break out during this time. And on February 6th, there was a wildfire that broke out, damaging 35 homes and injuring one firefighter. Also, about a year ago this month, in Australia, they had their wildest wildfire occur ever, and this was in Victoria, Australia, where there were more than 1,000 damages done to houses and also a couple hundred deaths. Way back when, we all know that the United States is, well, they teach you in school, or at least at my school, that Christopher Columbus founded the United States. Well, in Australia, they were founded by the Aborigines 40,000 years ago. And they have 6 states and 2 territories. Unlike the United States, we have 50 states. The American flag and the Australian flag. Well, the obvious is that they're red, white, and blue. But the America has 50 states for 50 stars for 50 states, 13 stripes, 13 original colonies. 6 stars, 6 states and territories on the Commonwealth Star. Well, haven't we been hearing, we can do it, we can do it. That's all that's been pushing into our heads for about the last 3 to 4 years when Barack Obama was brought into office. He was our first black president. We went down in history for that. Just recently, Australia has went down in history as well. Their prime minister, which is like their president, was the first lady, Julia Gillard. She was the first female prime minister of Australia. Figure this. These are just some figures that compare the United States to Australia. The American dollar and the Australian dollar are the same. 100 cents equals $1. The capital of Australia is Canberra. The literacy rate, 99%. Population, 75% of the population uses the internet. Can you see the differences? 75%, that's more than half of the United States population, and only 15.3 million, which is not even half of Australian population, uses the internet. This is also a graph showing from the last graph the unemployment rate of Australia compared to United States unemployment rate. 5.3 in Australia and 9.7 in the United States. To me, that was hard to consider, seeing that Australia is so expensive. Face the facts. Okay, put yourself in another world or a scenario where you live in Australia. So, each one of these, face the fact, if I were to live in Australia rather than the United States, 1, I would experience 32.22% of class division, seeing that we wouldn't be class divided, or we wouldn't be looked upon as the upper class, middle class, and the lower class. 2, if I lived in Australia rather than the United States, I would compose 29.48 less oil. 3, if I lived in Australia rather than in the United States, I would spend less on healthcare. If I lived in Australia, I would have 3.48 years longer to live. I would use less electricity, make less money, and have less babies. But most of all, 60% 66.67% will have less likely to have AIDS. Spice it up. This is an Australian fashion. This side is American, this side is Australian fashion. And what I found interesting was Australia's capital, Melbourne, is the capital for fashion. These are a little bit more about fashion. And how many of you guys have Uggs? I'm in love with Uggs. They're the most comfortable shoes in the world. More in common, Australia also believes that they believe that the United States, they depend on the United States to help them with their security. They have holidays as well. Australian Day is just like our 4th of July. And Peru. This means goodbye in Australian slang. Thank you.